bem-vindos, Kreuser aqui, e no vídeo de hoje vou falar sobre Armadilha. O filme estreia aqui no Brasil dia 8 de agosto e eu tive a oportunidade de conversar com o diretor, sim, o M Night Shyamalan, e o Josh Hartnett, que é o protagonista aí do filme. Obviamente eu não podia deixar de trazer essa entrevista aqui no canal, então espero que vocês gostem tanto quanto eu e façam muito barulho pra eu conseguir fazer outras. É a minha primeira entrevista da Warner. Mas lembrando, lógico, não deixa de se inscrever aqui no canal e clicar no sininho pra receber notificação pra quando tiver um vídeo novo, que eu sempre trago as novidades dos filmes e das séries aqui pra vocês o quanto antes, vocês sabem. E só pra dar um contexto antes, pra quem não sabe, o filme Armadilha, titulado ainda em inglês Trap, acompanha o Cooper, que vai a um show junto com a sua filha, de uma cantora pop chamada Lady Raven. Só que lá ele percebe que tem muito policiamento mais que o normal. E aí ele descobre através de um funcionário que na realidade todo aquele show é uma armadilha pra capturar um serial killer brutal, o açougueiro, e aparentemente não tem como sair de lá até o fim do show. Desesperado com essa situação, o Cooper tenta sair dali com a sua filha a todo custo. Então eu conversei com o M. Night e o Josh sobre a criação do personagem, sobre o psicológico por trás, a forma que eles trabalharam o serial killer aqui no filme e também essa relação de pai e filha, principalmente porque a Lady Raven, a título de curiosidade, é a filha do M. Night. Então eu também queria saber como que foi essa criação de relação de pai e filha, tanto para os personagens quanto dele como diretor e a sua filha ali atuando. Então confere essa entrevista, eu espero que vocês gostem. So thank you for having me. And what was the intention of showing a serial killer in a deep psychological construction rather than the brutality of his crimes?
Wow, well said. Really interesting. That was just instinct, because I'm identifying with him. So as I'm writing, I am saying, if I had this thing, you know, I'm feeling him. So the acts themselves are kind of a destination that's somewhat unimportant, you know, in this situation. It's the movement of who he is and how he's struggling with these darker forces and the lighter forces in his life. And there are extremes in this movie, but all of us struggle with that play. And so when I'm writing him, I'm less interested in those acts and more interested in the struggle between light and dark that he's going through. You know, for me, I'm always resisting to show you the alien, like, I won't show you the shark in the movie as much as I just insinuate it. Part of the serial killer myth is everyone knows what it's like, you know, the crime scene photos, all of that stuff. So all I have to do is reference that. The normal movie that you would see, that's happening on the periphery of our movie. And you know all about that movie. You've seen 100 of them, so I don't even need to show you that. I'm using your knowledge and just touching it here and there.
Cooper is a proud father who stands up for his daughter. In the movie we see your daughter concerned as a background for the main story. Would you say that Cooper's proud father characteristics came from a genuine feeling of yours?
For sure, you know, for sure. I mean, we bond over kind of being dads of girls, and his girls are really tiny, but and mine are grown up, but it's similar, you know, similar love of that. And he's starting to do it now, and I've done this for a long time, which is, you know, you go and do the girl things with them. And so you're oftentimes in situations that, you know, at a ballet recital or at a particular concert with a star that you wouldn't know, but they are like, they know everything about this particular person. And it's so sweet as you're a fish out of water in that circumstance. So that quality of finding joy through the joy of your daughter because she's, you know, glowing, and then you're happy because of that. That's 100% from you know, our experiences.
Yeah, for sure. But as Knight said, I'm just getting to that point. I took my kids to their first big concert only like 3 weeks ago. Oh. I'd never had this experience with them before filming, and but I love the opportunity to go and see them in their world and kind of get to know them better. My daughters are very into ballet and very into, I don't know, horses and things that I'm not necessarily into personally, but watching their excitement gets me involved and more interested in what they're doing. So like, I felt that from Cooper's perspective. Like, you can see it in the film. He's taking this all in, and it's kind of wonderful. It's kind of like, oh, there's a society here that's created that's beyond my understanding, and it's cool. It's really nice.
Josh, your character has these two present personalities. What was the biggest difficulty in developing these two with such different characteristics?
I didn't think of them as two different characters. Knight and I would always talk about, like, the dad and the killer, but they had to be one part of a whole and part of a real person to me. And I, in the kind of books that I read, realized that, like, most psychopaths that are doing this sort of a thing are really charming people because they need to put people off their guard before they do something horrible to them. And especially this character, the way that he's written, just I think that what he is to his daughter is a projection of what he would like to be and how he would like to influence her, and it's not so much a second person, or it's just a duality of his own character. He wants to be that. He knows he's not that inside, but I think we all have those lights and darks. We all have those things that we project onto the world that aren't necessarily who we are truly, and I think it's just a more extreme version of that. So I had to make it that sort of casual in nature for me to kind of get into it. Otherwise it would have been too difficult to just put it on. I felt that's the only way to make it organic.
We made the movements from killer to dad a little bit difficult as he's weighing from, and I think that struggle, I don't know if we ever necessarily talked about it as much, but that struggle as you're trying to hold both, and I think prior to this day, it was easier to do it separately.
Yeah.
On this day, they have to simultaneously exist, and that was really interesting because he's not necessarily used to doing the butcher dad constantly,
He wasn't confronted with this sort of challenge yet. That's what's fun.
It's fun.
That's fun about storytelling. Like, you have to ask yourself the question, why today?
Yes.
Why are we telling this story about this guy
This
today?
particular day. What's different for him on this day? And he doesn't have to do that.
Mas eu quero saber de vocês, o que vocês acharam da entrevista e também o que vocês estão esperando pra esse filme. Vamos discutir. Bem, pessoal, espero que vocês tenham gostado desse vídeo. Não esquece de deixar o seu gostei e compartilhar nas redes sociais. Inclusive, me segue lá, se inscreve no canal e clica no sininho pra receber notificação pra quando tiver um vídeo novo. Te vejo no próximo. Tchau!